Okay, good people. Yes, there's this article that I look that was written by Daily Maverick that speaks about the relationship between MK and IFP. Look, and then it goes on to discuss the relationship between EDA, ANC. You know what I'm saying? And the list is endless. So I thought to myself, this is a very perfect time for you and I to actually have a discussion about this because the things that have been cited by look, the things that have been cited by Daily Maverick, I thought, you know what, these are undeniable facts. So let me get into this one. This article was released look, on the 10th of April 2024. Okay, let me check the journalist. Can't see the journalist. They say one. An MK and EFF plus ANC coalition is not impossible. Now they start by saying the MK party of former President Jacob Zuma has won two sizable court victories. The first related to its registration as a party. The second, on the 9th of April, the Electoral Court declared Zuma to run as a candidate despite his sentence of 15 months imprisonment for contempt of court. Okay, it's clear that the way for substantial shift in the political landscape. Until now, the focus has been on multi-party charter, coalition of 11 parties, many of which did not clear the support handle to run, led by DA Action SA with a surging MK and a nobling ANC. And MK and EFF and ANC coalition as a future option has been clarified here below. Now, this is where it just gets so interesting, and you're gonna have to allow me to go down this because I decided that I love the explanation given by Daily Maverick. They did a very great job here. I may disagree with some of the things that sometimes they might say, but on this one, I think I do agree. Now, let's take now the relationship between MK and EMK and EFF. Now, they've got this to say. Number two, the EFF and MK are like naturally allies or allies, yes. Three key figures associated with the former president joined the Red Barrett earlier this year. Number one, Kalinius Gosencha Shezi and Mzwanele Manyi. Right. Let's move to this point now. They are explaining the role played by Ushes. They say Shezi played a point man on the Red Movement, a popular strategist. Shezi is also a political entrepreneur of note. He has recently moved back to MK. Mani is an EFF MP, but also still occasionally speak for Zuma, whom he has served as a spokesperson of the Jacob Zuma Foundation. The shifting across and between the parties and their similar beliefs are important to note. Most MK members are former or still existing ANC members and reverse back into governing party entire plausible, right? So let's talk about Mzanele Mani, for instance. Mzanele Mani, I did say that there is this time where, despite the fact that Mzanele Mani is like a member of EFF, but you will see the very same guy talking or look when he has to speak with Jacob or for Jacob Zuma Foundation, he will go and speak for Jacob Zuma Foundation, right? So I've seen that, and I've always said that there's this relationship between MK and EFF. By the way, if you follow Jacob Zuma's daughter, Duduzile Zuma, she's not afraid to post about EMK, right? She's not afraid to post about EMK. I mean EFF. Then also, of lately, President Zuma, during Malema's birthday, he was there wishing him all the best on his birthday. It tells you that they are not afraid of each other. They are not afraid to talk about the fact that they they understand each other. But let's continue now with this one. Hopefully, I'm live. I can't see your messages, but yeah. Uh, the ANC is in talks with the EFF, even if informally and in Gauteng, these are happening. The two parties co-govern two metros, Johannesburg and Eguruleni. They do so terribly, but that's a story for another day. The ANC in Gauteng has reportedly ignored its head office in local instruction to get out of the coalition. Right. Justice Malala suggests in Business Day that ANC sub-leaders in Gauteng will support EFF Deputy President Floyd Chibambo as a future finance minister. The story of finance minister or the person that spoke about it, it is none other than Umalema that said if he doesn't have a problem. Let's say, for instance, him and the ANC they go into bed and they form a coalition. Look, he said he doesn't have a problem with them working together. All right, right, and then only if Floyd Chivambo becomes the Minister of Finance. Now, let's say you will recall that EFF President Julius Malema has held this up as a precondition for any future alliance with the ANC. The idea is being floated. The ANC is running a weak campaign and may not get the 48% to 53% its strategists believe was possible. When it started the race for 2024, this means its initial plans for a coalition with small parties such as HMR and the rest African Independent Congress and are likely to get over the line. And then they go into point number 5. Point number 5, they say, look, ANC support will vote for President Cyril Ramaphosa, but not have Mashatile by 2027. Why this? The ANC hold its 56th elective conference in 2027, and Ramaphosa stepped down as an ANC leader, likely being replaced by Mashatile. No ANC president has completed a second term as country president because the governing party does not support two centers of power. The party conferred former President Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma after party elections. And then again, they go into this important point, which I think this is very, very, very important according to me as well. They say the DA is worried about the Western Cape. Um, the party seems particular rallied behind the rise of rallied by the rise of Rise Mzansi, going all negative in SMS's campaign to potential voters on Tuesday, 9 April. It's derisively referred to smaller parties as popcorn parties. And the DA leader, John Steenhuisen, made a hands-off Western Cape speech in Paarl, which News 24 commentator Mpumelelo Kabela suggested was an illiberal. Steenhuisen has also said by a comment about the DA willing to strike a coalition with ANC to prevent a doomsday coalition, by which means by he means an ANC and EFF coalition. Oh my God. So that was the article that I thought or that I found to be very for me, I found this article very important to talk about a lot of things that has transpired in this very article. So, according to you, what will you say about the relationship between MK and the most likely relationship between MK and the and the ANC, the natural relationship that is being spoken of by Daily Maverick? They've done a quite interesting job to just analyze that relationship to say there's gonna be this thing of a coalition between the two parties, between EANC as well as between EMK as well as look, as well as in this political party, guys, EFF. it's very neutral and something that is going to happen at any given time. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear your thought and your opinion about that. I am not seeing your comments, guys. I don't know why. Okay, let me just check this one as well because there was something that I found to be very interesting, also written by Daily Maverick. Yeah, let me go through this as well. Yeah, I found this as well to be very interesting what they wrote. They say the following. Um, they said that the victory by IEC is not about EMK, right? Okay, let me read what they say. They say we need to reflect on what this decision was and what it was, and what it was not. It was never about MK whether Zuma could be on the ballot paper. It was only about whether Zuma could be a candidate for parliament. The outcome of this case has no bearing on whether MK registered as a party. It has already won that case against the ANC. It will never have prevented Zuma's image from being on the MK party election poster. I've heard a lot of people, political analysts, spoke about the fact that Zuma can always be there, even if the IEC had said that nope, you are not going to go to parliament, but he can still be on the posters and campaign, even though he was not going to go there. So what they are emphasizing here is that point to say whether or not people like it, Zuma was still going to be on the poster, right? So that's why they are saying this victory has really little to do with MK, right? They say in the absence of a full judgment, it is impossible to assess whether they are it is impossible to assess, sorry guys, it is impossible to assess whether there are grounds for an appeal. It is not clear whether the Constitutional Court could hear an appeal by the IEC against this decision. However, if the IEC were to appeal, that will cause a further complication. The question of Zuma's eligibility for parliament because of a sentence he received will have to be decided by the judge who imposed that sentence. That would have been another interesting. That would have been another interesting. What can I say? That would have been another interesting because another interesting twist. Now you bring that to the very same judge and say, listen, can Zuma stand? I'm just thinking about it, and I'm just thinking about it now. They are saying if the appeal by the IEC has to happen, it will still be sent back to the very same judge who made that decision. I found that to be very interesting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But then let's wait again because the IEC they had said that they are still studying the judgment. But the idea that if IEC decide to appeal, it will be taken back to the Constitutional Court, and the very same judge that sentenced Jacob Zuma to 15 months in prison will be the very same judge that will be presiding over this. What's your take about it? I'm interested to hear your thought and your opinion about that. But nevertheless, let's say, however, if the IEC were to appeal, it will cause a further complication. Okay, that we've already covered that one. He will surely argue that most of the judges on the Constitutional Court are conflicted and should not hear the case. That alone may force the IEC to decide that an appeal is not worth local proceeding with. But the IEC is not the only party in the matter. One of the other parties is a person who lodged the objection with the IEC, named in court document as Dr. Moroba Matsopola. As a party in this case, he will surely have standing to appeal if he chooses so. He may well feel that he has the right to apply for a court to stop former president to stop former convict from being going to court. Now they go on now to name the consequences of that decision. They say it is hard to know how it will play out because so many of the circumstances are so unprecedented. Yeah, I will agree to this. For instance, I keep referring to this senior political journalist at SAPC that he had said that Zuma will never be the president, right? A lot of political analysts as well and legal minds, they've said that Zuma will never go to parliament. But today, it presented a different situation. Jacob Zuma is going to parliament, right? So I understand them when they say this has presented an unprecedented situations and moments, right? So you can never clearly predict what is going to happen, right? But nevertheless, again, they say, okay, well, look, but look, if there's no appeal, the most likely outcome is that the most likely outcome, this could allow MK and Zuma to claim that the electoral court decision is proof that the IEC is biased against them, and to not accept the IEC announcement of the election result. There are other consequences too, right? Hey, dilemma for guys, they write. Those people, they write. They work hard, right? We must give credit to them. They don't just, you know what I'm saying, paraphrase things and go. They go into details and make you understand why they are saying what they are saying. But they then continue to say, if there's no appeal now, the decision stands, and Zuma could be in parliament for the next 5 years. There are other questions, including whether Zuma will in fact return to parliament. Technically, another scenario could play out. In days after the elections, new MPs will stand up in the National Assembly to be sworn. When it is Zuma's turn, an MP from another political party will lodge an objection based on electoral court ruling. Okay, wow. The person presiding over this incredible, difficult moment will be Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, who who headed the commission that made the decision to take Jacob Zuma to the Constitutional Court, which led to his which led to his sentencing. But again, this speculation, because there is no judgment, it may turn out that the whole electoral court has done is to allow Zuma to be a candidate, and that this ruling does not mean Zuma can go to parliament. Wow. Okay. This may seem strange, but exactly the kind of line on which legal argument can turn. In the meantime, Zuma supporters will surely relish the prospect of returning to parliament. And in this particular, the idea that he could, in parliament proceeding, ask a question of President Ramaphosa's, presuming the ANC is able to vote him once again, with or without coalition partners. This might result in a strong MK caucus in parliament, capable of using parliamentary procedure to a great effect. This rival the EFF in the use of destructive tactics, making the National Assembly very difficult for a governing party or a coalition. The most immediate effect of the decision is to give MK huge momentum. The energized party will surely use the decision to continue to claim in public that it is a legitimate voice of the people. MK dominated much of the reporting on the election campaign over the last few weeks, and now it will be able to do that for some time to come. The electoral court decision is likely to be electrify the election. Because of the decision, MK could do better than previous presumed. This will force other parties to energize their campaign. In particular, ANC and the IFP and the EFF will have to try to lose as few voters as possible to MK. Right? What an interesting analysis here, guys. This is very, very, very interesting. For the DA, there is probably only an upside to this. There is an evidence that Zuma let ANC help to increase their share of the vote. The prospect of Zuma once more having political power might well do the same for it again. Once again, Jacob Zuma has shown that he is almost unsurprised and understanding of our society. There are likely to be more surprises in store. Right? I've already gone through the articles from Daily Maverick. So in short and simple, They are presenting to us different types of scenario that might play out in this upcoming elections. And I see that people are not commenting today, and I don't know why. But as we look into this, we are saying that the way they are analyzing the situation, they are saying uh, Jacob Zuma, it's like they are unpacking a chess game here that it has been prepared, right? When it's okay, let me say this. In the words of Vusi Tembekwayo, he had always emphasized the fact that Jacob Zuma look, he's always 5 steps ahead. So as in when you are listening to Daily Maverick unpacking the situation, you can see that whether the MK party wins majority of the vote or not, or they just win a very substantial amount of voters, they are going to be a key player in parliament. Even if they were to be the official opposition in parliament, they will be the key players in parliament, right? And then they are now analyzing this thing and to say EFF is going to benefit if this is happening. But if you're looking at this, it's kind of like a well prepared oiled machine where just like now, when Vustenberg says Zuma is always 5 steps ahead, he is a strategist by nature. A lot of people like to refer him as a very good chess player. We are seeing now probabilities being created. And in any of the situation, the person that stands to suffer is Ramaphosa. He is going to suffer the most in parliament if the MK makes it to parliament. ANC, they will be punished the most if look. And now I like the fact that as well they are saying that the person that will intervene on the near future of local preside over the case of Jacob Zuma is going to be local Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, who already is in a disadvantageous position because he has declared his intentions to sentence Jacob Zuma, right? And also, there's quite a number of things that have been said about him. Already, I am seeing a situation that has been created here to say if this one becomes a judge over this case, like the one where IEC, right, who said it publicly that who issued a statement that said when he was asked, he said that Jacob Zuma, blah 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 blah. And because as a judge, this woman was not supposed to comment on these issues. She has already commented. That alone makes her. I'm looking for that word. She cannot preside over issues of Jacob Zuma. And we spoke about it. And when we spoke about that, we said it's like look, in fact, let me not use the word we. Let me borrow the words from the actual advocate Dalimpov. He said, look, talking about the judge who is working with the IEC, he says, if, for instance, you are being asked about the AKA story, right? You are asked if these people are guilty or not, and then you answer as a judge. You say they are guilty. By the virtue of your answer, you can no longer preside over that case because already it will be presumed that you are not independent and impartial, but you are biased. You have already said they are guilty. So, look, Advocate Dalimpov was saying, as a judge, when you are asked such questions, the best answer is I don't know. But that judge already pronounced that Jacob Zuma is guilty, blah, 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 which makes her unfit to proceed with that because it is now presumed that you yourself are biased. The same situation is created when it comes to Raymond Zondo. We already know where you stand, right? So, because we know where you stand, it creates a very difficult situation for Uzondo to be independent, right? And in fact, a lot of people have been saying that the current Chief Justice Raymond Zondo is biased. He's working with the Stellenbosch mafias. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of things that are around Chief Justice Zondo. The question is, in a worst case scenario where this thing it goes to an appeal court and Raymond Zondo at some point is called to come and act, what do you foresee the circumstances? I foresee a situation where these people are caught. between rocks. They look. You will have to find other judges that will preside over the case of EMK and Jacob Zuma. So it could only be that people have strategically planned this. It is this thing that I told you that Jacob Zuma, it's kind of like, remember when I was talking about the things that I've learned about Jacob Zuma, is that he's using every single defeat that he has suffered to his advantage. And this is what we are seeing right now. There's already a disadvantage. These people who ruled on Jacob Zuma's cases previously, they are already disadvantaged. So now, Buffett, this chess is now turning ugly. Like, for instance, we never thought that we will get into this point. So it's like these people have prepared for this long time ago, and they know exactly what they are doing, right? So speaking about knowing exactly what you are doing, so you've got the media who likes to play this thing, this card that says Jacob Zuma is uneducated, and therefore they're belittling his intelligence. Now, I'm looking at his moves here, and as I'm looking at his moves, and obviously it's not Jacob Zuma alone, but he works with people. But at the end of the day, we can't take away the fact that he's a leader. So most of the things he must give his say. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking at his moves here, I'm gonna ask you a very fair question. Is this moves or are these the moves of an uneducated person or not? For me, he comes across as a person that is has got a well-educated mind, right? A very intelligent mind. These problems have been created. Uh, okay, thank you very much. To Bando. Oh, okay, I can't see who this person is. Nevertheless, so this situation of Jacob Zuma here, it is creating a very, okay, it is becoming very interesting. And Jacob Zuma's moves, to me, doesn't necessarily say that he is uneducated person. Because if we are to judge education, we can't judge education only on the basis of on the basis of just an academical papers, but we must judge a person's intelligence on the basis of their level of comprehension and understanding on how they do things. So we see Jacob Zuma giving people sleepless nights, and I doubt ANC right now they are able to sleep. Like honestly speaking, guys, I doubt ANC they are able to sleep. But what can I say? There are, look, in fact, I read some tweet today where, look, where somebody said that it was a mistake for, somebody said that it was a mistake. Let me check something here. Somebody said that it was a mistake for Ramaphosa to fight Jacob Zuma because uh, they believe, according to people, that it would have been it would have worked better for look, in fact, let me say it this way. Let me say it this way. My apologies. Let's withdraw the first one. Somebody was saying, if this guy, Ramaphosa, worked with Jacob Zuma, today they would have been in a very compatible position. Somebody then went on to say, when Jacob Zuma was working with the ANC, they were very stable. But this time around, they are not stable. And that's, they find it very funny and very interesting that they thought they can do it without Jacob Zuma, the uneducated guy. But the uneducated guy today proves to be very important. What would you say? What's your thought about it? Right? What's your thought about the fact that now they are, look, he has single-handed them all, one man, and giving them a sleepless night. Whether or not you decide to do away with this man now, it's already too late. He has already caused the damage. Right? What's your take? But also speaking about the fact that the relationship between ANC and the relationship between Malema and Jacob Zuma, right, of lately. So even if Jacob Zuma look, through the appeal by the IEC, right? Okay. Even if, for instance, they were to the IEC was to launch an appeal and say, Jacob Zuma, thank you very much. Maybe the court ruled otherwise. I believe that people that will vote for MK will say, okay, we've got EFF, so let's work with EFF. So at the end of the day, ANC still have a problem to deal with, and that is people that will vote for MK. Those votes, together with EFF, they will create a very big problem. And I still believe that EFF in the upcoming election will also do well. At least that's my belief. Let me read your comments and hear what you guys have got to say about the situation. MK will struggle with logistics during the election because the ANC has already hired all the buses. What is your take on that one? That's another important point talking about logistics. But I get that's a legitimate question, and it's very valid. And then before I answer this question, let me give you a background to this question. There was a time. First of all, I don't believe that they can hire all the transport that is available in the country. That's the first point. But there is something that I need to say on the basis of that point, guys. Sorry, guys. There's something that I need to say. Okay, let me say it this way. You remember Malema speaking about the fact that they had was it a conference or what? I don't know what was it, a rally. So they've hired the buses, right? But just few days before the rally, they've paid. They were supposed to pay 10 million to all these buses that will transport people all over the country. Few days, if not 5 days before the rally, the bus companies dropped them, and all of them cited the fact that they were being threatened by the Minister of Transport coming from the ANC, telling them that if you work with the ANC, watch what is going to happen to you. So with that background, I don't believe that they can hire all the transportation in the country that is available. It's too much. But what they can use that same tactics. But then one will say, you've got people that are coming from the ANC that know how the ANC works. That's number one. Jacob Zuma himself, he understands how the ANC works. You've got the head of the head of strategies, who's the former, which is the former Minister of Police, Mr. Natin Tlheko, who understand how the ANC works, even from an intelligence department point of view. So he understands, he's been there, he has run their campaign from an intelligence point of view. So I think because of those two things, they know what they are dealing with here. They know the people that they are dealing with. That creates a very problem for the ANC because they know that. Number two, look, take for instance the letter that was released by the Gaba brothers, who are very big on the transport industry. I don't believe that they can just decide that, oh, we're gonna sell out and not help our favorite person being Jacob Zuma. So remember that the EFF, when the buses were when the bus companies dropped them, they resorted to local taxi industry, right, which ended up costing them more. But still say that if the buses are not available, the taxi industry will be the one transporting people without problem. So I'm saying yes, that is possible, but they can never win because the taxi industry is there, and they can never control all the taxi the taxis there. Some of these taxis are owned by people who are loyal to Jacob Zuma. Because of that, it will create a problem for the ANC. But nevertheless, let's continue. Let me hear what's your thought. Uh, okay, let me hear what your thought. Right. I don't think that is important because we hear what Bong says. Thank you very much, Tembim Lokomsani. Mxolisi, I have heard that Bonginkosi has been removed from the from the MK Youth or Utin has been removed from MK Youth Leader. Yeah, yes, I can confirm that the letter is there, and in fact, let me read that letter. I think I did a video about it. Maybe you didn't see, but for the sake of your own benefit, let me read this thing. But then they were redeployed, right? The letters to remove them were sent on the 9th of April by EMK. The letters are legitimate, but then the letter that they released today, I think today is the 10th of April, This is the letter that they released. It says media statement, 10 April 2024. Listen to this one. Redeployment of Bongenkosi Khanyile, loko Shabane, Utapelo Mashia, and Gazuzu Ntuli, they say, in a move that heralds a new chapter for the MK party, we are delighted to announce the strategic redeployment of the three members of the MK party. Bongosi Kanyile, who has served as an interim president of the MK Youth League, right? Ujin Tabane, who has served as an interim secretary general of the MK Youth League. Tapelo Mashia, who has served as a deputy interim president of the MK Youth League, and Gazuzu Ntuli, who has served as an interim provisional coordinator for Gauteng. So they said that they have been redeployed. But when you continue reading the letter doesn't speak or doesn't clarify what, if you are redeployed, for me, it sounds like reshuffling. So what we are being told here, it says the decision comes after a thoughtful consultation. Look, and this aim at bolstering our effort to achieve a transformative two-thirds majority. Our goal is clear: to facilitate land expropriation for the landless, tackle the challenge of load shedding, create sustainable employment opportunities for the youth, and addressing the pressing issue of poverty and inequality. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Comrade Kanyile, and all they name them for their invaluable contribution in their previous roles. Their dedication and the leadership have laid a strong foundation for the positive changes we aspire to bring. And as these young leaders embark on their new roles, we are inspired by their commitment and energy to focusing on uh, garnering youth to support MK in these elections. We look forward to working closely with them in the campaign for two-thirds majority come 29 May, and that's the end of the letter. So when you are reading this letter, right, as a matter of courtesias to you who look, yeah, Olisi John, when you read this letter, it doesn't necessarily state Uguti they've been removed they've been removed from their positions, but it just said that they've been redeployed. But to where? I don't even know, because the letter is not clear. If you are reshuffled, you are either out, full stop, or you are being moved from one department to another. But this letter says they have been redeployed to where? Redeployed to where? To where? The letter doesn't say anything about it. So, yes, I can confirm the MK party. I even went to their website, right? I tried to call their media department, but they did not pick up my phone. I went into their website. The letters are there, they are legitimate. I went to their original website. The letters are legitimate. It was confirmed, it is there on their website. They did confirm that, yes, they have been removed from the youth league, but the next one says they are redeployed. But me, I'm saying I'm confused. Redeployed to where? You know what I'm saying? Let me read your comments again. Ukazabula happy. Uti, for logistic mandla, we have the Java business. Yeah, I think like for real. I think uh, those people will come in handy in such a situation. I don't believe that, honestly speaking, these people, they will struggle in terms of transport. And also, guys, you must look at MK. And like I said, that these people are always 5 steps ahead. Look at how they do things. I've always said that when you look at MK, the way they do things, it's like they move like they don't have a direction. But if you look very closely, you will realize that no, these guys have got directions. They are applying the principle found in the book called The Art of War. That book says when you attack, you must make your enemy believe that you are not attacking. But when you are not attacking, you must make your enemy believe that you are attacking, right? So, in other words, create an environment where you are not predictable. That is how MK is moving. You can never predict their next move. But when the time comes, you will always be surprised. They will always find a solution. Like, look at MK. MK has been trending ever since Zuma announced his affiliation to MK. For them to trend week in, week out, there must be people working behind their media department. I always look at how they trend and what they are trending for. I'm always curious when they are trending. And I look at things like that. Usually, I don't find, you'll find them trending for just a silly reason, but because there are people working behind the scene, making sure that MK is visible. That is how they've created this powerful brand. And they've created a very strong brand, right? So you can see that they know their next move, but they make it difficult for you to predict their next move. Even with the issue of logistics, I can comfortably tell you this. They know they already have a plan, and I can tell you this, they've got plan A, B, and C. And because they know how the ANC works, I can tell you this. They've already prepared for that. Hey, I always say, guys, I want to interview the people behind MK because those people are proving to be very intelligent people. I want to know the people behind that. I want to meet their strategies department, their marketing department. Yeah, these people know what they are doing, guys. These people know what they are doing. Okay. Uh, okay. Let me hear what somebody says. Logistics. Okay. Left lens. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your surname. Sorry. He says Botswana is watching. Thank you very much, Botswana. Ellen Uti watching in Kensington, Joburg. Thanks, Bungani. All right. Kensington. Hey, yeah. I respect that area, that area of Joburg. I respect that area. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this live stream. Now, tell me your thought and your opinion, right? Before we close this live stream, I'm very keen to interact with you guys concerning the MK party. And first of all, I will ask this question again, right? Because I think it's very much important. Who do you think will be the next, look, is fit to be a minister of, say, for instance, they win the two-third majority, right? Number one, let me remind you something here, because this is very important that we talk about. During Zuma's time, load shedding happens, right? So he goes and he found Umachela Gogo, no Brian Muliv. He takes them to ESCOM. It took only 5 months to solve load shedding, and he announced that there will never be load shedding. There was no load shedding. Under Jacob Zuma, if you're looking at his performance, the GDP was growing at about 5%, right? Under Ramaphosa, it is growing at about 1%. Under Jacob Zuma, you will find things such as he performed better than Umbeki. I checked the stats. The houses that were distributed during Zuma's time are more than the houses that were distributed during Mbeki's time. Water, people got more access to water during Zuma's time than during Mbeki's time. In fact, Ramaphosa himself even said it that Jacob Zuma is now chairing something in Africa that has got to do with infrastructure. Because when it comes to infrastructure, Jacob Zuma performed exceptionally well, right? You're looking at the people that were also deployed by Jacob Zuma to SAPC. For the first time, SAPC in the history of SAPC, it was headed by Claude Motsweni, who performed exceptionally well to an extent that instead of depending on the bailout from the government, he created enough funds there was enough funds, right? But funny enough, that guy was labeled as an uneducated person, but he performed better than all the current board look at SAPC who are full of educated people who are always dependent on government bailout. To get what I'm trying to say? If you're looking at SARS, for instance, there's a research that was published not long ago, which says under Jacob Zuma, for the first time in the history of the South African revenue, they managed to get 1 trillion for the first time under Jacob Zuma's administration. So, and then that also came because Mbeki said Jacob Zuma was trying to destroy South African Revenue Service. And then that research was published. And then I looked at that research, it said that that man, under his administration, for the first time, South African Revenue Service collected 1 trillion rand in one financial year, right? So there are many things that we can talk about, right? That the man has done. So now that he has moved from the ANC, he is now owning EMK party. Who do you think should be deployed? You know what I'm saying? As ministers, as EML or MEC, should they win the two-thirds majority? Who do you think should be in the finance department of the country? That the minister of finance. Who do you think should be the minister of police? Let me say then they will bring back Unathi Nhleko in the position of being a minister of police. Who do you think will be the minister of education? Others were suggesting that you must use this guy, why? Because he knows and understands and has suffered the injustice from the department itself. Who do you think will be the minister of, you know what I'm saying, all these things, Jay, in general? Who do you think will be the minister of such things? I'm interested to hear what you guys have got to say, right? Who do you think will be deployed? I'll give an example about it, right? We've got a situation with the current leadership of Ramaphosa, right, where they've been struggling to deal with ESCOM for years, right? But under the Zuma administration, it was dealt with in a space of 5 months and there was never load shedding, right? So under the current leadership of Ramaphosa, right, things such as, for instance, trains, people hasn't been using trains. You understand? And I always ask myself, there are people who are earning 5,000 a month. Look, when I started working, I depended on a train. I couldn't afford a taxi. So things like that have dilapidated. They are no longer there. I see now they are trying to revamp such. How many people lost jobs because trains were stopped functioning and everything, right? How many people lost jobs because of that? Like you can name it. You can name it. Look, for the first time in the history of South Africa, South Africa had about over 1 million potholes when Fikile Mbalula was a minister of transport, right? He was moved from there and it became something else. Like, guys, do you think the MK will bring competent? Because it's one thing to be the minister, but it's also one thing to be competent and excel in the position. Under the current leadership of Ramaphosa, I think when I look at, there's one minister that when I look at him, I can see the love and the zeal for this country. And that minister is the Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Aaron Motsoaledi. That guy, man, he's got that thing that, you know what, I'm doing my work, I want to do it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking myself, who else will you point in the current administration and say this guy loves his job as a minister or this woman loves his job? Maybe we will say Naledi Pando, right? What's your take about him? So I'm just wondering who will be the ministers if Zuma or if MK Party were to take over? Because for you to rectify all the problems that were created by the current administration, you need capable individuals. Who will those people be? Can you give me a suggestion? Can you give me names that you think these should be the ministers? I'm interested to hear that. I will continue giving a bit more on that one. Okay. Well done to those who are look invisible but very strategic. Go MK, it shows that umhlanganyelwa Gedlehlekisa is the master of chess, right? Unjabulo Msweli, look, MK must get that guy of ATM Vuyo Zungula, then have him as a deputy president to Zuma, to Zuma, Gedlehlekisa Zuma. Please, please, please. What do you like about Zungula? Because a lot of people are very fond of him. You know what I'm saying? People are leaning more towards him, right? But I'm saying if you want to solve the problem of this country, you need capable ministers. Number one, those people, they must love the country from the bottom of their heart. Each and every, For instance, right now, there's a problem with the current Minister of Police, right? Now, let me tell you something. It is state says in South Africa, this is very funny, but it's very important. As funny as it may be, as funny as it may sound, but it's very important. State says out of 10 people that are committing murder in this country, only one will be successfully prosecuted. That means 9 people will go unprosecuted. Did you hear that? Crime is on the rise. Like whether you check business robbery, rape, murder, whatever crime, look, whatever crime you see, it is on the rise. You must check the stats, right? You hardly have uh Zuma. I'm reminded of Zuma one day said, "Oh, Minister of Police, he just he just come there with that black head to tell us about how crime is happening in this country and all this stuff, but he's not doing anything about it." I'm saying some of the ministers that are currently occupying positions right now, whenever they are doing their work, you don't feel that, you know what, these people are doing whatever it takes to save the country because they love the country. I don't feel that from them. Like I said, I only saw that from one minister. So, in order for you to save the country, if MK is to save this country, right, they will need to bring their A game. They will need to bring their best. For me, I wouldn't have a problem if they were to bring back Brian Molefe or ESCOM, if they were to solve the load shedding. I wouldn't have, because he has done it before, he has solved the issue before. I wouldn't have a problem if they were to bring Machela Gogo on ESCOM, because he has done it, he has proven, he has solved the problem before, right? I wouldn't have a problem if they were to bring, even if they were to keep Aaron Mutwaledi, look, Home Affairs. I mean, the guy is showing enthusiasm and energy and the love for this country, right? I wouldn't have a problem if they were to bring a person such as, this guy. This guy got SAPC. Turning, right? I wouldn't have a problem if they were to bring people like that. They've got good track record. He performed exceptionally well when he was at SAPC. Right. That's according to my perception. But I don't have the list in my head to say bring this person in this position, this person in this position, then we can rebuild and create more and create a sustainable country. But also, let me check this. It says only Mandela and Zuma who shaken the Babylon. It's only Mandela and Zuma who shaken the Babylon. Delisile Mazibuko uti the following. What do you think, Delisile? What's your take? What are you saying about the following? Right. Daniel D788 and Jabulo Msweli. I agree with you there. That guy is something else. Very good. Right, Umzamo Mthembu, you will be surprised to get the ANC big guns to join MK after elections like Zandile Gumede, Mxolisi Kawunda, Mayor Lokoteben Mayor, and Brian Molefe, and many more. Right, yeah, yeah. But for me, I think the qualification criteria should not be whether the person is affiliated to Zuma or not, but the qualification criteria should be performance, right? Let us be convinced about what you have done for this country when you were in a position, to those who were in a position before. I'll be happy to like, I've already named mine. You can keep Aaron Mutwaledi in that department. I don't have a problem with that because he is showing this enthusiasm. You can bring back Natin Tlego as a minister of police. I don't have a problem, right? But we need to have proven track record that you performed well. You can bring Mutweni or SAPC and bring him back to SAPC, let him run SAPC. I don't have a problem because he has got a good track record. You can bring people such as Brian Molefe and Machela Koko ESCOM to solve the issue of load shedding. I don't have a problem. They've got good track record. They ended load shedding in a space of 5 months. Whereas the current leadership, they said, Lamaposa said, give me 18 months. 18 months came and gone, failed dismally to solve load shedding. He he then asked another more 18 months. He was given. He failed dismally. and then he appointed the Minister of Electricity, who asked us to give him 18 months. He was given more 18 months. He failed dismally, right? Now, of lately, he made a speech day before yesterday, if not yesterday. He said, we must celebrate the fact that it's been 18 days without load shedding. No, we cannot celebrate that it has been 18 days without load shedding. We must celebrate that you have ended load shedding. December, Ramaphosa said, hey, from January there will be no load shedding, right? And then Fikin Balloon talking to JJ Taban on ENCA, he said, December is the end of the load shedding. You're never going to see load shedding. January came, boom, stage 6. You know what I'm saying? Then he was asked, Balula, you said there was not going to be load shedding. What is this? He then said, no. Hey, that Yabon Balula is Kogi. Balula is a liar. Balula, I've never seen a guy that likes like Balula. Balula then, instead of saying, guys, I apologize, I made a mistake. No, why people are saying this to? He should have just said, I apologize. You know, so when it comes to the issue of load shedding, these guys have failed dismally. And there's nothing that they can convince me now today. They have failed dismally. So if MK is serious about solving that problem, bring capable individual, then I will accept that. Right. Let me hear what people have got to say. Right. Property magnet. Let's talk about Bongenkosi after here. We have already spoken about Bongosi. What do you want to talk about Bongosi? Just give me a hint, because I've spoken about Bongosi and I've even read a letter. Right. Tell me what you want to say. Hit on the comment section below. I will talk to you. Property magnet. Right. Udelisile Mazibugo, Brand Malife, Koko, Mkutama, Lesufi, Motwaledi. Okay, tell me something. I see Brand Malife and Machela Koko on ESCOM. It's very clear about that one. They are going back to solve the issue of ESCOM. Motwaledi, it's clear. He's going to be, look, he will solve the problem at Home Affairs. But then, please explain Andile Mkutama and Lesufi. Which position? Lesufi performed well in terms of education in Gauteng. He was loved for that position. So that will probably be his position. Or are you saying he will be taken into, he will replace Plain Zamande on as the Minister of Higher Education, or he will replace this woman. Oh, this woman is bad news. And that woman is bad news, guys. That woman is bad news. Let me tell you why I'm saying she's bad news. There's a new policy in the Department of Education now that says a child cannot fail 3 times in a phase, right? So, say for instance, this is how they calculate the phase: grade 1, 2, and 3. You cannot fail 3 times on that one. In fact, if you are clever, you cannot repeat a class once or 2 times. I forgot, but it's around that. In other words, if you want to pass, what you need to do, you need to fail grade 1. Automatically, whether you fail grade 2 or 3, because of that law, they must progress you. That's why in your child's report, it's always written failed but progress. A person who's got 20%, for instance, passing mark, or marks, out of 100%, you got 20%. Because you can't fail twice in the same phase, they will say failed but progress. How do you progress a person who has failed? You know what I'm saying? That woman is bad news. And Jim Tsecha is bad news, guys. That woman is bad news. So I don't know whether you're saying Uli Sophie must occupy that position. Blaine Zamande has been accused of a lot of scandals in the Department of Higher Education. Is Lesufi going to replace Blaine Zamande? I don't know. Tell me in the comment section below. What's your take when I was talking to Delisile Mazibugo? Where? Then let's talk about Andelim Kotama. Which position do you think he will occupy very well? Which one? I'm interested to hear that. Let me hear the next comment as well. Look at Daniel D788. Lesotho was well organized in the education department. Naledi Pando, Aaron Toledi, these guys are good but old. They can be advisors. A very interesting point. A very, very interesting point. Right. But again, maybe something that we're not looking at here is that let's say the ANC is out of power. Will they agree You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking. Because maybe the ANC itself, even if the individuals agree, but the ANC will say, we don't want you there. If you are our member, we don't want you there. Right? Unless they decide that okay, we are leaving ANC, we are joining MK. But I get the fact that they need to be advisors, then get younger people that are being mentored by them. That as well, I agree, fully agree. But that should also apply to Jacob Zuma. He's old, 81 years this year, at 81, yeah. So he needs to mentor a younger leader, a younger president, right? Okay, let me hear what somebody else has got to say. Which last comment? Okay, property magnet. Bongana, please, we need to discuss this issue. Yomfana wa look yomfana wana look as like yeah, okay, who are okay, who are now ordinary members. Oh, Bongo Sikanyele. Bongo Sikanyele, who has been relocated into just an ordinary member of AMK. But then they said he has been redeployed, right? But I don't know where. He has been redeployed, but where? You know what I'm saying? Or they are saying we are just redeploying you to be just an ordinary member. A lot of people are concerned about that. I see. Okay, let's get back to that issue. Let me hear what Unjabulo Mswele has got to say. But also, Lucky Montana did well work press up my brother and bring back data shopper to replace the useless zone. Okay, yeah, yes, because Prasa was very stable. That's a very important point. That's a very important point. I get it. But then tell me something about the Ujaj shop replacing Uzondo. Uh, what would be the qualifying criteria, or what merits does or can we? I don't know how best can I ask this question. You know, a lot of people who have looked at their track record and we say based on this and this and this, like now we are mentioning Ulake Montana, we are saying at Prasa, so we can go back and look at Prasa under him, it was stable. What majors or what would be the qualifying criteria? Okay, what is there, good judge shop that we can say, okay, based on 1, 2, 3, and 4, we will then make him a chief justice. What qualifies him to this position? Yes, that's the right question I was looking for. What qualifies him to the position of a chief justice? That's the only person that I'm not sure. I haven't followed him very well, so I will be lying. But I'm asking you genuinely so that what qualifies him to replace Ujaj Zondo, right? Because we are saying you must replace wrong people with right people. That's our concern here. So let me hear what somebody else has got to say. Moniel. Oh, I've been saying Daniel Monet D788. Justice system, we need Muhwem. Oh, okay. But then he has been a chief justice, so I don't know. I don't think he will be allowed to serve again as a chief justice because he has been a chief justice before. So I don't think he will be allowed. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a constitutional expert, so or legal expert, so I wouldn't know. Right, property magnet. It is because of the press conference they had last, or something else. But in my opinion, they were an like a liability that will have cost MK two-third majority in May. Oh, I'm lost. I get your comment, but I'm lost. Why are you saying the press conference they had last time or something else? But in my opinion, they were a liability. Oh, okay. He's saying the reason why they started to dethrone youth leader is because of the things that they've done in the press conference, right? They were going to be a liability to MK. And I've heard a lot of look. I've heard some people saying that one of the problems is that they are they don't choose their words. Things that they will have to say on the media and things that Bongos, to be specific, he doesn't choose his words. Things that he can say and things that he can't say, right? Yeah, so because of that, other people have had a problem with him, right? And then Unjabulo Muswele, then we will see, look, then we will put Goko, look, Goko Batab's Dlamini Vele. Batab's Dlamini. Oh, ngeke Njabulo Mswele. Hi, you are there, Ukona Muswele. Hi, we will replace her with you. We don't want old people. You know what I'm saying? We want them there, but I think as an advisor, yes, not as the actual leaders. You know what I'm saying? Njabulo Mswele. We would rather put you there. Kung Fu Craig, you are 100% correct, my brother. You cannot fail but progress, because how will you pass in the next class? Yeah, hi. That's why I'm saying, oh, Mom Angie Mutsaha, she's bad news, shame. That woman is bad news. That woman is bad news, guys. Um, Mzamo Mtembo, Judge Hlophe must brought back to Zondo's position. But I'm saying, what qualifies Judge Hlophe to that position? I'm saying on merit, you know what I'm saying? Because we are saying, for instance, Brian Mulife, Machela Koko, this is what they've done at ESCO. They've performed well. This is what they've done. So their track record speaks for them. We are saying, oh, look, Umutwaning, right? When he was at SAPC, this is the track record. This is what he has done. And he maintained SAPC. They did not need the bailout from Parliament. In fact, he maintained it. From there. He even made money for SAPC, but such a person was replaced, right? A credible individual was replaced with non-credible individuals that are now occupying SAPC, depending on the government bailout, which is something that doesn't make sense to me. You bring all these people with PhD, but they can't solve the problem. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, but you went to school for what then? If you can't use your academical wisdom and knowledge to the effect that it makes us see that, you know what, you got there was a change. To me, it was as if like they got there and they made it worse. You know what I'm saying? Why were we sold the idea that they are qualified individual experience if they can't solve the problem with SAPC? Right? How like you as a person, how do you get outsmarted by an uneducated individual academically? So, like for me, if I had a PhD and being appointed in that position to replace Abomotsoning and be the board there, I would be like, I wanna do two times what Umutsoning did, because I've got papers, I've got experience, so I must do better. You know what I'm saying? So it is with the Judge Klopp. If you are saying to me he must go to SA, look, he must be brought back to replace Uzondo. Show me his works, then I'll be convinced. I'm not saying they are not there. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I haven't followed the individual or that judge to an extent that I know everything that he has done. So for that, I don't want to sound otherwise. But nevertheless, let me read this one as well. Lifelines, it's very straight. Justice Mokweng Mokweng is going to be the next incoming president from Norway. Whoa. All right. Hmm. Okay. You are up to something. You are up to something. Let me interrogate that further, right? That is a very interesting point, but I will get into this one. Monel D788. That Gogo has failed our children dismally. Now, that Gogo has failed our children dismally. How can a grade 12 pass with 30% whilst other countries' private pass rate is above 50%? I mean, that's logic. You know what I'm saying? That's logic. From 100%, half of 100% is 50%. But you've got a child who passed 30%. And then she goes there. She's very energetic at that one. That one is very energetic. When she speaks, you can't sleep. But her works is contrary to the energy that she has. Is contrary. Yakumam Angie, when she speaks, you will listen to her. She's very exciting when she speaks. She's very energetic. You know what I'm saying? She's got all these good things about her. But that woman is bad news, guys. Like the type of people that are being produced by the department she's heading. Oh, horrible. The other time there was this company, I just forgot the name of this company, who said People who graduate, look, who comes from, who get matric in South Africa, they are the most horrible people. They even said that they will stop hiring people with matric in this country because even those with matric, they still need to teach them basic things. They said that most of those people do not know spellings and all the stuff. They named a lot of things. So now they said we will hire people who doesn't even have matric because at the end of the day, we still need to teach them the very same thing that we are to teach those with matric. So what's the point of hiring the ones with matric? There's no advantage. Why? The education, I almost use the word that I don't usually use, but the education has been, the education department, the foundation phase has been has been deteriorating, has been on the decline under her watch. Why would you keep her? Right? That's my problem. Why would you keep such a person? But yeah, Uram Ram has kept her. I don't know why. Natasha Magwala, bruh, that's Mr. Mr. 1 hour minister look, Van Rooyen replace Lesaka Khanya. Hey, uqalile. Uqalile. Mr. 1 hour. I think too, I didn't say anything, right? But at the end of the day, guys, we need to check. Like, we need to check whosoever the MK get to replace. I mean, we need the A team. Like, come on, guys, come on. The state of South African Defense Force. Let's talk about that for a moment, right? Uh, the lesser said about that department, the better. Come to think of it, people are dying in DRC Congo. Why? And let's give credit to DA here. DA did say that the people that are being sent to DRC Congo, they raised that awareness. Let's give them credit. They say people are being sent to DRC Congo without proper equipment, and that is, they said that a lot of people are gonna be killed there. Guess what happened? Few months we were burying people, soldiers. I was following them posting these people being buried here in South Africa. Of lately, just to show that people are dying there. Malema was making that speech. He was saying there are people, part of the armies, right? Part of the South African army, right? They're in DRC Congo. This rebel, they went into their camp and they killed some of them. And guys, it's kind of like a person goes straight into your house, right? That person tells you that we don't fear you. That was the point that Malema was making, to say you can't have people going straight into the camp of an army, the rebels. It showed that they don't fear them. They went there and they killed some of the people there. Of late, the statement was released that I think 3 Tanzanian soldiers and 1 or 2 South African soldiers died in that, look, when that happened. Why is that happening? It is happening because I remember the complaint from DA and one of the army experts. They were saying they need at least 3 helicopters, equipped helicopters, that will survey the situation on air and communicate with the soldiers on the ground to say, listen, these people are on this side, be careful, this is what is happening. So in other words, you just have the advantage of the helicopters running around. But these people, they had 1 helicopter that was also shot at, right? I remember the report that came there that says one of the person who was in that helicopter got injured during the shootout. So that helicopter had to be taken back to the warehouse, right? Why do you send soldiers when you don't have the necessary equipment? You are just sending them there to be killed by these rebels. Why? I'm just talking about the state of the army. Not long ago, the Patriotic Alliance, they were busy showing us things that were happening in our borders. Gaten McKenzie, they were showing us things that were happening in our borders, right? Tandimo says, no, everything is under control. But lately, I saw an article that says there's crisis in our borders. They hired people who were called, I think, borders patrollers, whatever. I read an article few weeks ago that even those people that were hired to patrol there, they are saying they can't do that job. You know what I'm saying? They need more equipment. There's no equipment. To even safeguard the borders, there's no equipment. Not long ago, we saw a whole Iveco that was stolen. It was being taken to Zimbabwe. It was found in a dam. It was left there because they couldn't proceed with that. You know what I'm saying? Not local. Remember that there was also the problem in Manguza, KZN, where cars will be stolen here and then be taken to Maputo, via Manguza. If I'm not mistaken, it's Manguza or Mhlabialing and around there. So cars will be stolen and be taken there, right? I saw not long ago they have gotten or they recovered a lot of cars that were there, right? I'm talking about the state of the defense itself. So then you've got people that are proudly members of ANC who doesn't show signs of enthusiasm, who doesn't show signs of agility in resolving the problems that the country is facing. You know what I'm saying? You've got to replace those people. Why? Minister of Education, replace. You know what I'm saying? That's just my thought. You just replace all of them. In fact, in a country that talks about June 16, youth this, youth this, how come we've got more old people in leadership, less young people? How come for the why? Why don't you take these old people and make them advisors? Like, come on, look at things that are dilapidating in this country. I, me, I, um, okay. Lifestyle, the next incompetent president from Norway. Okay, the next incompetent president. Um, okay, let me see, Natasha. Pradel. Okay, 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 okay. I think the last comment was from Natasha Magwal. Right. So yeah, it is my complaint and it is my desire that if we were to have, for instance, EFF as a governing party, I do trust the ability and the credibility of old Floyd Shivambu in the EFF. I do trust the abilities of Malema himself. For me, I wouldn't have a problem with Malema being the president of this country. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with him. Now he sounds more matured. Like, honestly, he's maturing now. He knows what to say and what not to say. And yeah, you can tell that the man has grown. I wouldn't have a problem. The EFF can also bring it on. I wouldn't really have a problem. What's your take about maybe, let's say, for instance, EFF works with MK in a coalition, and the president comes from MK, and maybe some of the ministers comes from no, the president comes from EFF, and some of the ministers do come from EFF. What's your take about that? Will you accept such a leadership? I'm interested to hear that in your comments. I can't see anything in your comments. What's your take about that? Right. But again, ultimately, I think we have reached the climax, and look, we've gotten into the climax. Now we are moving towards the end of our live stream. The question that a lot of people are very concerned about is the issue of Ubongosi Kanyile. I will still try and gather as much information as possible because, I mean, yes, the suspicion is that it was because of he was more aggressive and he didn't know how to choose his words. And if you remember vividly, one person that didn't know how to choose his words is this guy Radi or Ravish, something like that. Please, I'm butchering his surname or name. I'm sorry for that. He's been arrested, and he will appear. He will appear on the. He will appear on 14 June 2024 because of words such as there will be violence in this country if MK is not allowed. Like the way they were so aggressive, right? Maybe the MK saw that if we put Uba Mgosi Kanyile into the leadership position, we run a chance of us being labeled as a violence thing. But the ANC itself, I saw a video of the ANC singing that Zuma must be killed. You know what I'm saying? And nothing has been said about it. I haven't seen even articles that were written about such things where they were saying Zuma must be killed. I saved that video where they were singing that song. ANC members, you can see them in the ANC regalia talking about how Zuma need to be shot at, right? I haven't even seen a single article that says that these people are corrupt. IEC has commented on the issue of MK being violent, but even IEC has never commented about that, and it worries me that they have not commented about that. Okay, Monet D788. It's very sad to talk about security in this country. We are on our own. When the whole SNDF has equipment, if we are able to be attacked, what will happen to us? I, yay, yay. I don't want to think about that. I do not want to think about that. I really don't want to think about that. What will happen if they let equipment? And what message does it send to people who might want to attack the country? If things like this are happening in this, what message does it send? Like honestly speaking, I don't think it sends a right message to the people out there. But again, let me read this comment. Jabula Musweli Uti, you're sorry to say this, my brother. I didn't trust Malema. I don't trust Malema. He was the one who dug up on Ubaba Uzuma. Why doesn't he give out the same energy to Ramaphosa Pala Pala? Okay, okay. Putin the Great. Now Putin Ubuyile, guys. Hi, guys. Yeah, what are you guys? The person that has entered our live stream, guys. I respect this one. I need to close the live stream. Putin the Great is here. I respect this guy. Right. I get you guys. I get you guys. I honestly understand what you're saying. It's worrisome. It's worrisome. It's worrisome. Yeah, I think those are some of the things that guys I wanted to talk about in this live stream, and I think we've done a lot in terms of that. But yeah, Unjabulo Msweli, when he said that he doesn't trust Malema, I understand also where you're coming from, right? I honestly understand where you're coming from. But again, guys, I think that's it from me. I'm just reading your few comments now. Let me read this comment as well. Oh, I'm here in Russia and I am sending you a young man Zoom. I'm here in Russia and I am standing with a young man Zuma. Okay. Putin the Great. Yay. The president of Russia who has this smile, but the things that he does is so incredible. That man, that man, Putin guys, Putin guys is something else. That guy. Yeah, guys, I think when I put in, you found us right at the tail end of our live stream. I'm already done. Let me just look at the things that I've left here, where they were talking about Jacob Zuma. I want to read some few things. Then I'm done with the live stream of the day. I'm done with the live stream when I finish this one. Yes, this is the talking point. Former President Jacob Zuma's name is expected to appear on Umkhonto weSizwe party list when the IEC released the final party candidates list. What could be the political ramification now that Zuma is on the party list? That's a quite interesting question as well from SAPC. Now, there's this guy at Tabiso 499 Uti. Cyril had a chance to unite and grow the ANC with President Zuma as his predecessor, but right from the beginning, he was talking about 9 wasted years, yet he was the deputy. His brand was all about fighting and prosecuting his comrade rather than uniting. What's your take, guys, about this one? Where I've seen Ramaphosa being so concerned about prosecuting they that did not fall or believe or trusted him, they that opposed him. He wasted. I think in fact, I read an article that says look, things are worse under Ramaphosa. But you will remember that when he took power, he told us about the new dawn, how he's going to fight corruption, how he's going to do this and this and this. You know what I'm saying? He promised us the whole world and gave us nothing. And I keep asking people this question. Show me something, guys. What has President Ramaphosa done for this country? Nobody's showing me. People can hate on me and say, yeah, you hate Ramaphosa. But when I ask them this question, what has Ramaphosa done for the country in the past 5 years or 6 years? He has been a president. Nobody's showing me any tangible evidence. And I'm still asking this question to you guys. What has the man done for this country? This question here. Okay, there's another one who at CC underscore Sasha Uti. The narrative that Zuma is an ill-disciplined ANC member is wrong. And then number one, he stepped down in 2018 and went home. Two, he campaigned for ANC when he was caught. Three, he was hailed into rogue commissions and arrested without a trial under the watch of the ANC. Who failed who here? That's another interesting point of consideration. You say that he's an ill-disciplined person, but he has proven otherwise. And I agree with this. Honestly speaking, what's your take, Wayne? Right. Ulokhu at Pume 22 uthi waze wayinyisa i-ANC eyedwa ubaba. It means that Uzuma gave ANC problems one man, so he single-handed them one man. That's what the tweet is saying. All right. They keep saying that he thinks it's bigger than the ANC. No, that organization failed him. Even blind men can see that. Hey, nithini guys, nithini nayindaba la. Talking about Ubonkosi Kanyile, somebody said the following. They already removed their violence and destructive Bonkosi Kanyile from all the AMC party senior leadership WhatsApp groups. Okay, somehow somehow are still in them. From January till last week, I tweeted 14 times exposing the shenanigans of Bonkosi Kanyele, which ultimately resulted in sacking, right? In other words, he was fired because of those things, right? We'll continue exposing MK Party for who they are, a bunch of mafia criminals who wants to get into government to loot, plunder, and steal. This the person that wrote this is at Golam on Twitter. So you guys will have to talk to him. It's him. So I'm reading his tweet the way they are, right? Okay. The next one says President Zuma must now sue Zondo for the unlawful arrest. Yeah, I think that is what I wanted to cover up, or something that I wanted to take up with you guys. Let me check if I'm leaving something. Um, okay. Utulane had to read my chat. Oh, Tulane, I haven't seen it. Not unless maybe you tweeted before or you said something. Cynthia Malape, experience is a good teacher. Zuma must come back. He will lead with experience. Okay. Got you, Cynthia. Tobile Mkize, come back, Zuma. Our country was better under your leadership. Umone D798. I asked one fool that Putin, I asked one fool that question today at work. I asked one fool that question today. Guess what was the answer? Rams has brought us 350. What a sad generation we have. You know what? I'm gonna come back and address this situation. I thought I'm closing this live stream, but I need to. I need to address this issue of 350. People is not as business as usual. You cannot appreciate AMA 350. That's a wrong thing. You should not appreciate AMA 350, guys. It's a wrong thing. It's really a wrong thing, but I'm going to talk about it now. I'm seeing something that has been reposted by Ududuzile Zuma. It says, President Zuma, we know better. We don't believe this propaganda that Iran suffered under Jacob Zuma. Right. Let me also check something that I need to talk about today in today's process. Look into today's episode. Okay, I've already done a lot of things here, and I can't see some of the things that you guys do want me to talk about in relation to Jacob Zuma. So let me read this one for you. Guys, I've got a problem. I read stats now. I think the article was released by News 24, if I'm not mistaken. They once said this, which is a problematic to people that must look. And I want you guys to understand this. In a country that you want them to in a country that you want to develop, right? In a in a country that wants to create employment, in a country that wants to reduce crime, in a country that wants to reduce teenage pregnancy, in a country that wants to reduce lawlessness, it can't be, as I was reading the stats from News 24. They said 50% of South African population, 50% of South African population, let me repeat, 50% of South African population depends on the grant. Now, here's the problem with this grant issue, and I want you guys to understand it very well when it comes to the grant. Okay, sorry guys. I want you to understand me very well when it comes to the issue grant. You know, when look, I want to look Monet D788. I want to talk more about this issue of 350. Let me show you something. I read a stats in 2022 going to 2023. In 2023, there was an article that was released. I forgot either by IOL or what. They looked at life expenses in South Africa. In 2023 early, they said, in a household that has got 4 people, for you to buy a minimum grocery, did you hear that? A minimum grocery, that means buying your fish oil, salt, maybe a bit of meat, and a bit of maize meal. Just those few items, Jay, minimum grocery. You need that 4,500. 4.5 just to buy a minimum grocery of 4 people for a month. Now, let's do the maths here. Say, for instance, you have 4 people living in that house. All of them are receiving this 350 grand. 350 grand of Ramaphosa. And then you say, let me use my phone here. And then you want to say, I want to show you something, that this grant issue is a useless argument that a lot of people don't see, that it deprives them of their human rights. I want to show you something, that the 350 in a house of 4 people, it's not even enough to buy a minimum grocery. So you can appreciate 350. Let me show you. 350 times 4 people, it gives me, it gives me 1,400. Mind you, that stat says, that article says you need 4,500. So the 350 grant is not enough to even buy a minimum grocery. Then there's somebody that appreciates this grant. Okay, let's argue. For argument's sake, and say you've got a granny in the house who's earning 1.9, right? And then let's say you've got a person who's got 2 or 3 children who's earning this grant. Maybe they are earning close to 2,000 as well. And then you've got 2 adults who are earning 350. So I'm going to show you something. Let's round it off and say, I'm showing you something and say, in that household, I'm just, okay, let me clear this. Say, for instance, this old person, this old granny is earning 2,000 from government as a grant, plus the mother. And mind you, when I say 4 people, I'm excluding the children. Say, for instance, there's a woman in that house who's got 3 children. I'm making an example. And say she's also earning 2,000 as a grant. That will mean 4,000. And then the other 2 adults, they are earning, let's say now, plus 350, right? So if you've got, for instance, if in that house you have 2, the granny and the mother who's got 3 children, they are earning 2,000 rand each. That will be 4,000, right? And then you say you've got these 2 adults as well who are not working, but they are earning 350. And you put their money together, it will give you 4,700. Mind you, that says you need 4,500. Already here, the only thing that they can buy is grocery, and they can never buy a good grocery from this money. So when a person says they appreciate Ramaphosa for 350, that's an insult. It's not even enough. Okay, let me argue. Let's leave the grocery part and say, for instance, you're an adult. As an adult, you need minimum things. You need to buy toiletries. Is this 350 enough to buy your toiletries as a human being? Um, I'm using Vaseline for men. If I'm not mistaken, I'm using the last time I bought the small one. It's small like this. I paid around 50 something, 51 rand. Say for instance, I'm earning the 350. 51 rand gone. Already you are left with how much? 250, 290, 90 something rand. Right. You haven't bought soap. You know what I'm saying? You haven't bought Colgate. So this money in reality, it's not enough to even buy a toiletries. How do you have a normal human being that appreciate 350 grand? Two, if people are to develop as a country, you need people to be independent and start their own thing. So you need to empower them enough that they can stand on their own and be able to run on their own. So you can't tell me that you can thank Ramaphosa for 350. You are upsetting me. You are upsetting me, right? You are upsetting me. But let me read other comments. Monet, I fully understand why you regard that person as a fool. I fully understand. I fully understand Monet here. Then Njabulo Msweni. Guys, Ramaphosa was crying about the plan from the CODESA negotiations. We are not surprised, Bongs, even thought it's painful. Please update us. Sorry, guys. Please update us. What was he saying about the CODESA? I will be lying if I say I know what he said there, right? Please update us, eh? Uh, Teminkosi Hlatshwayo, love, look, a lively show. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Teminkosi. Thank you very much. Property Magnet. EFF, they will get deputy positions if they decide to join us. The NPA spokesperson will choose you. Property Magnet, put in the grade. We need the young men back as soon as yesterday. MK for life. Thank you, MK. Look, thank you, put in the grade. Tulani Hadeb, don't want to read my chat. No, maybe they are not appearing. I'm sorry, guys, if ever I don't, whatever I read, guys, it's something that is appearing here. I'm sorry. I'm so if I'm not reading or if I don't see it, it means that it's not appearing. And I don't know why, because I hardly block people in my channel. So I don't remember blocking people. If, for instance, I have blocked you in the past, it means that I won't see your chat. So, guys, if I'm not reading your chat, I'm sorry. It's not because I want to. I don't see it. I'm not seeing it on my side. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Please accept my approach. I don't see it. So, Tulani Hatebe, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my man. I'm sorry. Monet, look, Monet D788 at put in the grade. 350 data enough for 2 weeks. My chance. It's for WhatsApp data. So Monet, it can only buy your WhatsApp data. Right, put in the grade 350 from 500 billion. Let's also talk about the 500 billion because I mean, honestly speaking, we hear people saying they are fighting corruption. But 500 billion went missing. Now, let me ask this question. How much money was stolen during the state capture? Right? That's a question. I think that's a valid question for us to ask. How much money was stolen during the state capture? The last time I checked, it was about one something trillion in total. But the Ramaphosa regime, they managed to steal 500 billion in a space of less than a year, 2 years into leadership. They managed to steal 500 billion. How much money has been stolen so far then? That's why they say corruption is worse under Ramaphosa. SAA sold, right? Prasa, they are preparing to sell Prasa. By the way, let me remind people something here. If you remember vividly, there's something that I need to remind people of here. If you remember vividly, guys, I think I'm catching flu. I don't know why. I'm starting to have a running noise and a running nose, so I don't know what's going on. Luckily, I have really met lemon, but I don't have Disprin. So I need to, before I sleep, I need to drink that med lemon. I'm starting to have a running nose, and there's something, it's a signal of a flu. Yeah. So at Prasa, Dudumien, she goes to Prasa, no, Prasa, SAA, right? And she goes to SAA, right? When she gets there, remember the reason why these white people at SAA had a problem with Dudumien is that Dudumien complained about the following. She said, when she gets there, she found that these white people are running ESAA. This is how they were running SAA. They were they were running ESAA through the evergreen contract. In other words, you don't have to bid. You already know that you are here forever. So they create a generational wealth through these institutions, right? So I'm wondering, such corruption, our president promised us a new dawn. He's going to deal with it. But nobody get arrested. For the why? Because the president was going to be dealing with corruption. Nobody talks about that issue of SAA, white people having green contract, ever green contract. You are bidding to get to SAA. There are already people occupying those positions. Dudumiani found that there have been companies that have been operating for years. They classify it as a tender, but they don't have to bid. They already know that next year they will be there. ESCOM, same thing happened at ESCOM. They found that there are companies that has been operating at ESCOM who have evergreen contract, and all of those companies belong to white people. There's Ramaphosa who's fighting corruption on the other hand. And you say nothing, he hasn't said anything about it. Why? Why is Ramaphosa quiet about such? Because that is West. West, it's West. Uh, Okay, Monet D788. Absolutely, Mr. Bongan. A normal person who is insane cannot appreciate that insult. It's an insult, and that person is belittling your intelligence. You cannot accept 350 as a grant. No, come on, guys, come on. Take that 350, give it to the child of Ramaphosa. They will, even his brothers or aunties or grandchildren, they wouldn't accept that. It's too small. It's not enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough for people to live. Leander Hotel Uti. The people can tell between an elected president and a president who was bought to the presidency. What a very interesting point right there. Right? What a very interesting point right there. Jabulo Msweli Uti Edmone D. There was a guy who bought 5 cars in one day during COVID-19. Do you still remember him? I think his name is what Ndlovu, the one who bought a pouch, flaunted with them. Funny enough, those guys did not last longer. It was taken by South African Revenue Service. Guys, there's something again that I have a problem with the South African Revenue Service, and that is, do you remember that when this lady, the one who's selling her body, and she's not afraid. She's not our band. She said at the other time she posted a picture standing next to a supercar, and she said that she's thinking of buying this beautiful. Was it Lamborghini or what? Those top cars. The comment from SARS was that we hope your texts are in order. She stopped buying that car. So sometimes the behavior of these SARS guys is questionable. Like honestly speaking, it's like they switch, they monitor you on social media, the car that you are buying, because you remember that that guy, he look, his problem was to flaunt with those cars. And guess what? It did not even take a month. It was revealed that he owes SARS, and there was a reposition of those cars. They repossessed those cars. And he suffered a lot. It's like that guy, I forgot his name, who went into Durban July. he had a convoy of 70 cars. In the next 3 months, those cars were repossessed, and there was I forgot the place where they were parked. You know what I'm saying? In this country, you front, you gone, you gone, you gone, you dead, you gone. They will deal with you. So I'm worried about the behavior of South African revenue service because that guy you are talking about who bought 5 cars new, SARS dealt with him. He did not survive it. SARS, they dealt with him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. Sorry, guys, man. Like I said, I think I'm catching a flu, but luckily I've got Imet Lemon, so I will use Imet Lemon right now. Njabulo Msweli uti IPP's money. Mune D788 and Njabulo Msweli. I'm not sure correctly. You mean with 350 or that money was borrowed to assist us affected by COVID-19? That's another interesting point. But the bottom line is that even though that money was borrowed to assist, because you know what? Let me explain, Manamunei. Let me explain. What look, somebody broke it down and said, no, somebody said this is what the South African government did. This let's use the word allegedly on this one. Somebody said this is what they did. They went across all the departments, right? Like they went to the Department of Education, they took money from there. SNDS Force, they took money from there. South African Police Service, they took money from there. You know what I'm saying? The Department of, all the departments. And he says that money combined, it look, it made up to 500 billion. So then they went into media and say, "Oh, we've been given 500 billion. This is a donation for us to deal with COVID-19." But he says, no, that money was never a donation. It was taken from these departments. You know how these departments are run? I'm going to tell you a funny story. This is how these people are running government. Not long ago, there was a department. There was a department that returned an amount of 1 billion. They said in South Africa, I forgot the name of the department. They said, "I we have done everything, and we don't need this money." They returned 1 billion to the national treasure because they said they've done everything that they needed to do in South Africa. And I'm asking you a question: if it was the Department of Health, don't you think they need that money? They do. There are hospitals that are buildings are dilapidating there. Infrastructure. You can't have a department returning money to the treasury. So one of the ways in which they steal these people money, these departments, whether it's the Department of Public Works, the policing, the minister, the SNDF force, whatever, they are given budget on it on the budget speech. Money is allocated. So the people that are heading those departments, they will try by all means to use as little as possible and then return that money back to the national treasure. When it gets back to the national treasure, they get a chance to chow that money too. That's how they will chow that money. I hope you understand. Even the COVID-19 money, it is said that it came from there. You know what I'm saying? But this one, please use the word or take it with a pinch of salt and use the word allegedly because I don't I don't have my facts correct on this one. Cynthia Malapi Uti, talking about the South African Revenue Service, I was wondering why it was established in 1997. I don't know that. I don't know that. I found out last year that SARS did not exist before. Huh? You see, you are bringing something new to me. Now I didn't know. I'm only hearing from you. Well, Cynthia, I'm learning that from you. Jabulo Msoli, guys, why aren't we talk about Pravin? Hey, I'm afraid. You talk about that man. If your house is not in order, you're gone. Police will deal with you. Something will happen to you. Got it. That man destroys Mzansi. Hey, now you want my channel to be blocked. That man Oh, somebody was saying, Unos Mapisa Nagula wanted to hold Pravin Gordhan accountable for the SAA thing and said that this matter will be brought to Parliament and will be debated and they will deliberate on the matter. Guess what happened to her? The next thing, she was there in court. So you want me to? They will block this channel, and this channel will cease to exist with immediate effect. Oh, when I Jabal soil, they want to finish this channel. We're not going there. 018 on that COVID-19, and that is surrounding what happened to the millions graves. Huh, what a very interesting point there. What happened to those graves? Yeah, yeah, Matter. Hey, we're coming far in this country. They once dig graves for us while we were still. They once dig graves for us while we were still alive. Hey, hey, a thing too. Hey, they once prepare for our funerals while we were still alive. Those guys, they once prepare for our funerals while we were still alive. Guys, it's late at night. We need to sleep now. So, guys, we will continue to have these discussions. All right. But maybe it's just this last one. Hey, I saw a letter from the Jacob Zuma Foundation. I think I need to read this letter, guys. This one is going to be the last one. I'm doing this last one. The Jacob Zuma Foundation released this letter, which I think it's worth reading for your own. This is what they said. Jacob Zuma Foundation, All Media House. I just can't see the date in which the letter was released, but they said media alert and reminder. Jacob Zuma Foundation announced its patron. He presidency, local President Zuma, will tomorrow attend the case of the private prosecution of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa in the criminal court to be held at the Johannesburg High Court. He will be attending his in his capacity as the private prosecutor. Then they then say on the 4th of December 2023, the matter was postponed to 11 April 2024, right? And look, and the accused was given look, and the accused again was excused from appearance because of his earlier court order that effect. The purpose of the appearance is to update the criminal court of the progress in the ongoing appeals in the SCA, South African against the court order reviewing and settling cited the summon served on the accused in December 2022 at his home and the personal capacity. Mzwanele Manyi, spokesperson of the Jacob Zuma Foundation. So let me repeat this so that you can understand this. They said that the matter was postponed to the 11th of April 2024. So as of us now talking now, it means that this matter will be heard tomorrow, Thursday, the 11th of the 11th of April, right? So tomorrow, Jacob Zuma will be attending this thing, right? I've just read that into record. I wanted you guys to know that Jacob Zuma, I think, will be in Johannesburg High Court. And from what I know, if I can just give you an update before I close this live stream, from what I know, he wanted to privately prosecute Mr. Newton. Now, you will figure it out yourself. You will figure it out yourself who is Mr. Newton, right? Oh, so they wanted to local prosecute him or local prosecute or Ramaphosa privately. So tomorrow, the 11th of this month, right? The 11th of April, Ramaphosa, that case will be heard in Johannesburg High Court. So, okay, guys, please don't forget, as we have now come to an end of our live stream. Guys, we only have 50 likes, and that's not nice. That's not nice. Guys, please do remember to subscribe, like the video, comment in the comment section below. It does help out a lot when it comes to the YouTube algorithm to promote and spread this video to more people. So it doesn't cost you even a single cent to subscribe. It doesn't cost you. And also, guys, don't forget to click the notification bell so that when I post the next video, you will be the first to be notified. Right? And you can only click the notification bell if you have subscribed to my channel. So please, guys, do the honorable thing. Please, guys, do the right thing. Let us subscribe. Let us like the video. Let us comment. Let me read this last comment. Monet, look, Monet D788. Blessed night, family. Let's not forget to pray for protection since we are not protected by our security system. Let's rely on God. Thank you very much, Monet. That's powerful. I fully concur with you. I agree with you, guys. Thank you very much for being part and parcel of this live stream. Our journey ends here till we meet again on another live stream, probably tomorrow. Please, guys, I'll keep you posted about what is going to be happening